Let's admire this magnificent, monumental amphitheater. The Colosseum was constructed between the years 71 and 81 AD, beginning under the Emperor Vespasian, completed under the emperorships of his sons Titus and Domitian 10 years later. It is built as an amphitheater. Amphi means both sides. It is a theater is a semicircular construction coming from Greece, ancient Greece. An amphitheater means a completely circular structure. And this grand amphitheater, the largest of its kind in the ancient world, seated, as I've mentioned, between 50 and 100,000 people. It has around it 70 entrances. They had crowd control. The people came with their shards of pottery that had their seat numbers assigned, just as we do today with our seat assignments. For almost all of the Roman population, they would use 66 of these doors, and then the remaining 4 of the doors were reserved. The northern door for the emperor himself, and the other 3 doors at the other signs of the compass for the emperor's attendance and procession. What we see here is obviously an act of monumental construction capacity, and I think it is right to say that the Romans really knew how to build. This was an empire built on construction genius. Of course, we have the monumental construction of the Colosseum itself, of the great triumphal arches that we've seen, of the Roman Forum, of the great temples. But the Roman Empire fundamentally was built on its infrastructure, its remarkable infrastructure for long-distance transport of water through aqueducts, through massive and brilliant sewage systems and drainage systems in order to circulate water, take away the sewerage, and prevent flooding. And of course, by Rome's famous roads. All roads lead to Rome indeed, because radiating out of Rome were dozens of major highways that first and foremost were used by the military to hold this vast empire together, an empire that stretched from the Atlantic to Western Asia. And throughout that empire were Rome's illustrious roads, many of which we ride on today, and we have today still in existence 2,000 years later. It is estimated that the road network of the Roman Empire at its peak included around 400,000 kilometers of roads, and of those, perhaps 80,000 kilometers were paved roads, paved so that they would be all-weather roads for transport, for movements of the Roman legions, and for movements of trade. Rome excelled not only in road building, but in every mode of transport, in the chariots, in the carriages, the long-distance postal services on horseback, all carried on Rome's illustrious and remarkable road system. Here we are today at the Colosseum, observing and admiring and celebrating this grand construction. There's another construction site right here. The Romans continue to build. Now they're building Line C of the metropolitan metro system. And so the building of Rome continues. It has been building that has been in progress for 2,500 years, constantly reusing this place, this eternal city, after all, to continue to make sure that Rome is in leadership of a way of life and an example of way of life for the world. So I'm enjoying the fact that we see a massive construction site alongside this 2,000-year testimony to Rome's building genius and to what it represents. Of course, we should talk about also what happened inside the Colosseum. There, it's a story of celebrations of military glory and military cruelty. Of course, these were sites where gladiators lost their lives to wild animals, where condemned men faced without any defenses, wild animals, and celebrations that were celebrations of death that were cheered on by tens of thousands of spectators. It was also a place of grand spectacles celebrating Rome's power, its reach, its great military victories. These celebrations went on for hundreds of years throughout the time of the Western Roman Empire. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD, the Colosseum went into disuse of any kind, and as with so many other monumental sites of Rome, one of the reasons why we see the Colosseum in the way it is today is not only the passage of time, but the Colosseum, like the Roman Forum, became a quarry site for the marble that would build the Rome of the Renaissance. The marble was taken down, used in St. Peter's and other grand constructions of Renaissance Rome, and it was in the 19th century that the Colosseum was recognized as an archaeological treasure for preservation and renewal, and we see from the 19th century onward the recognition of the Colosseum as an icon of not only the Roman Empire, but an icon of Western civilization. I would say a recognizable icon for the entire global civilization.